Welcome! Let's talk about Panthers versus Lightning playoff series preview and prediction in round one. Now, this is the third video I've done in this series for this season of 8 matches that will be taking place. The last one I did was the Washington Capitals versus the Boston Bruins, and I'll put up a link up top over the next few seconds for you to click on. Of course, you can always just as easily find it in my playoff preview playlist. The next club I'll be shooting will be the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild there. This is exciting. This is like the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Montreal Canadiens of the Central. Finally, these clubs are meeting each other for the first time in the playoffs, and they're even both good. One of them being the former Stanley Cup champion. The Panthers did take the regular season between the two clubs. They won 5 out of the 8 games they faced off against each other. Florida also finished really hot. They were 8-2-0 in their last 10. Tampa was 6-3-1. So the Panthers finished second in the Central with 79 points. The Lightning finished third with 75. Let's compare some stats here. Starting with goals for. Florida is 4th in the NHL. They've always been in the top 8, I want to say, over the past 5 seasons, though. Tampa is 8th in the league. Goals against. The Panthers are 12th. Tampa Bay is 7th. And then there's the special teams. Starting with the power play. Florida used to be really good at this. Top 5 for the past 4 or 5 years. Now they're 15th in the league. Tampa's 8th. The Panthers are 17th on the penalty kill. Tampa's 4th. When it comes to face-off win percentage, the Panthers are 15th. Tampa Bay's 16th. Hits per game, Florida's 7th. The Lightning are 9th. Blocks per game, the Panthers are last in the league. Tampa Bay's not far. They're 29th. 20-plus goal scores. Florida's got 2 of them. Tampa's only got 1. And when it comes to 40-plus point players, Florida's got 2, and Tampa Bay's got 3. Now let's talk about some injuries here for both clubs very quickly. Starting with the Florida Panthers, they had a plethora of players who are day-to-day but are now ready to go. And I'm talking about Brandon Montour, Sam Bennett, Jonathan Huberdeau, Patrick Hornqvist, and Noel Juleson. Of course, Aaron Ekblad is just out for the season with the leg injury. He won't be back. Tampa, on the other hand, it's a bit more complicated. Now, Palat was day-to-day, but he's ready to go now. Goodrow is the bummer. He's out indefinitely with an upper body injury. It looks like Ross Colton will take his place on the third line there. McDonough was day-to-day, but he's ready to go now. Hedman. This is the complication, right? He's ready to go, but he's playing injured. More on that later. And then, of course, Stamkos and Kucherov, who are both on the IR, probably will be ready to go for Game 1, according to Cooper. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now, before I move on and talk about some positional stats here, I just wanted to remind you to please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out. This channel has hit a bit of a brick wall lately when it's come to subscribers. Apparently, only 75% of the people who watch this channel are not substers. So if that happens to be you, please smash that button for me. Moving on. Let's start by talking about goaltending, beginning with Florida. Now, who's going to start? Is it going to be Chris Driedger, who in 23 games had a .927 save percentage? Or is it going to be Sergei Bobrovsky, who in 31 games had a .906, which is actually a lot better than last year, which wasn't a high bar to pass, really. He was sub 900. Thing is, Chris Driedger doesn't have any playoff game experience, whereas Bobrovsky has 37 games over 7 seasons that he's played, and his average is .874. Mind you, if you remember in 2018-19, and 10 games of the playoffs, which included a sweep of Tampa Bay, he was a .925. And then there's Spencer Knight, the rookie there who played 4 games for them, who was a .919. He's a goalie of the future anyways. I don't think he'll see any time. Now for Tampa Bay, Andrei Vasilevskiy, of course, he's been amazing as usual. In 42 games, he's got a .925 save percentage. And in 58 playoff games, he's actually only a .904. But that's because in his first playoff appearance in 2014-15, he was like an .895 in 4 games. And then 2018-19, when Lightning got swept, he was an .856. Last season, though, in 25 games, when they won the Stanley Cup, he was a .927. I don't think there's any concern there at all. Let's talk about the defense. Now, when it comes to goals scored in this division here, the Panthers actually take the edge here. Ekblad leads the way with the Panthers with 11. Hedman for the Lightning with 9. When it comes to points from the defensive group, Florida also has the edge here. 36 of those comes from Uyghur, who leads the way for them. And Lightning, it's 45 points from Hedman. Sergachev, by the way, also had 30. In the plus-minus category for the defense, Panthers also take the edge here. Uyghur is the best on D with a plus 29. Yandel is the worst with a minus 9. For Tampa, it's McDonough, who's a plus 13. He's the best on the team. Savard is the worst with a minus 8 in the 14 games he's played since arriving. Keep in mind, he also plays on the penalty kill. Now, the forward group, starting with goals scored. Believe it or not, Florida Panthers have a 1-goal advantage in this department. And of course, that's without Kucherov and somewhat without Stamkos for Tampa. Barkov leads the way for the Panthers with 26 goals. Point for Tampa with 23. Point-wise, Florida also has the edge here in the forward department. Huberdeau leads the way with 61 for them. Point for Tampa with 48. In the plus-minus category, the Panthers heavily outweigh the Lightning here. Duclair leads the way with a plus 27. He also has been seen on the PK lately, interestingly enough. Lustoranian, if I'm probably butchering that name. He's a minus 11 in 44 games with the Panthers. Embarrassingly enough, not familiar enough with this player, but he also plays on the penalty kill. For the Lightning, it's Gaudreau, who's now injured with a plus 16. He's the best on the team. Mitchell Stevens had the worst. He was a minus 5, but that was only in 7 games. Otherwise, it's Killhorn and Johnson who are the worst with a minus 1. Now, let's talk about keys to the series. Starting with the Panthers, it's got to be goaltending. Who's even going to start, right? I got a feeling it might be Bobrovsky, but if he poops the bed at all for like a period even, I could see Quenneville pulling him and throwing Drieger in. We'll see how that shakes out. Mackenzie Weegar needs to continue to be the quarterback of this team. He's just been amazing, especially ever since Ekblad has gone down with injury. Their penalty kill, it needs to improve. It's just not good enough. Their studs need to be studs. I'm staring at you, Huberdeau and Barkov. And the X factors for this group, there's a few players here. Probably Montour, who came over from Buffalo in the trade. Bennett, who came over from Calgary, who's been amazing ever since he's arrived. And usually he even steps up his game in the playoffs. And then there's Verhaeghe, former Tampa Bay Lightning player who's been good for them all season. Now, on the Lightning side of things, when it comes to keys to the series, how capable is Hedman going into this with this injury that we don't know about? Last time that happened, they got swept against Columbus, right? He was injured in that one. And I think I'm not even sure if he played the last game. Can Mr. Glass, Steven Stamkos, stay healthy? That's always an issue. And Kucherov, he's been skating for 6 weeks now. How quickly will he find his form? If they really want, they can, start him on the third line and just ease him into it, but he'll probably be on that first line matchup. And lastly here, will fatigue be an issue at all for the Lightning? And then who do I see having the edge in each of these positions? Goaltending, it's definitely the Lightning. Defense, I'm going to give a slight edge here to the Panthers, actually, especially with Hedman being questionable. On the forward group, you got to give it to the Tampa Bay. Special teams, I want to give that to Tampa as well. Coaching, both of these guys have been to the show. There is an asterisk here. If you don't remember, Tampa Bay lost in the Stanley Cup final to Chicago years ago when Quenneville was coaching them. Will that be in their head? I don't know. We'll see. Who do I pick to win this series? This is a really another difficult one. I'm going to give it to Tampa, but it's probably going to be in 7 games. And it really wouldn't shock me if Florida edged them out either in 7. But I'm going to go with the Lightning here. For those of you who've skipped to the end of the video, who am I going to pick? I'm going to say it's Florida in 5 games. And I think the reasons are obvious. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Be kind to each other out there. And watch out for my next video with Vegas and the Wild. And yeah, I'll see you soon.